The Philadelphia Eagles did not leave draft weekend looking better. They left it looking dangerous. Nobody around the league should feel comfortable with what Howie Roseman just built, because this was not one move, one pick, or one lucky steal. This was the kind of weekend where the offense got faster, the defense got nastier, and the whole roster started feeling like a problem again. Jalen Hurts already had enough around him to scare people, but now the Eagles added fresh pieces that make every defensive meeting a little harder. And the scary part is this still does not feel finished. Look at what is sitting around Jalen Hurts now. Saquon Barkley still forces defenses to crowd the box. Devonta Smith still wins with clean routes and calm hands. Dallas Goedert still gives them size in the middle of the field. Hollywood Brown and Dontavion Wicks add speed and depth. Then comes Mai Lemon, a rookie receiver who does not feel like a normal first-round addition. He feels like the kind of player Philadelphia drafted because they already knew what this offense was missing. Quick separation, tough catches, more answers against zone coverage, more stress on every corner who thinks the Eagles are still the same team. But this was not only about offense. That is where this draft weekend gets uncomfortable for the rest of the NFC. Jonathan Greenard now joins a defensive front with Jalen Carter, Jordan Davis, Moro Ojomo, Nolan Smith Jr., Jalix Hunt, and Arnold Ebiketie, and suddenly the Eagles' pass rush looks deeper, stronger, and harder to predict. One side of the ball got new weapons. The other side got a proven hunter. That is why this whole weekend feels bigger than draft grades. Philadelphia may have quietly started building another monster, and the first real warning sign came when they jumped up and stole Mai Lemon before anyone could stop it. But before we get into that, hit that like and subscribe button for more Eagles and all the NFL content. Can we get 500 likes on this video? The Philadelphia Eagles did not wait for the draft to come to them. They moved with purpose, and that is what made the Mai Lemon pick feel different. This was not a team sitting back and hoping its guy fell. This was Howie Roseman seeing danger on the board and jumping before anyone else could close the door. The moment Philadelphia moved up, the whole story changed, because Mai Lemon was not supposed to feel easy. He was the kind of rookie receiver teams usually talk themselves into taking earlier. And here's why this pick hits so hard. Mai Lemon gives Jalen Hurts something this offense badly needed: a receiver who can win fast, find space, and turn a short throw into a painful problem. He is not coming in as some quiet depth piece. He comes from USC with real production, real polish, and real pressure on him from day one. But pressure in Philadelphia is not always a bad thing. Some players shrink from it, some players feed off it. Everything about Lemon feels like he was drafted for the second group. The bigger twist is what this says about the Eagles' future. Devonta Smith is still a major piece. A.J. Brown is still officially on the roster, but the noise around his future makes this pick feel even louder. Mai Lemon is not only a new weapon, he might be the first sign of a new version of this offense. Faster timing, cleaner answers, more stress on defenses before the ball even leaves Hurts' hand. And just when teams start worrying about that new receiver problem, Philadelphia added another matchup piece who could change the middle of the field next. The Philadelphia Eagles made the loud pick with Mai Lemon, but the move that might age even better came later with Eli Sters. This was not the kind of pick that grabs every headline right away. It was quieter, smarter, a little more dangerous, because when a team already has weapons outside and then adds a rookie tight end who moves like a receiver, defenses start running out of clean answers. That is what makes this pick so interesting. Philadelphia did not only draft a backup, they drafted a problem for matchups. Dallas Goedert is still important, and nobody should act like he suddenly disappeared, but the Eagles clearly know the tight end room has to think beyond today. Eli Sters gives them a young player who can grow while learning behind a proven veteran. He was not drafted to be forced into everything at once. He was drafted because his receiving skill gives Sean Mannion another way to stress the middle of the field. Linebackers will not love chasing him. Smaller defensive backs will not love fighting him at the catch point. That is where the real value sits. The twist is, Stowers does not need to be perfect right now for this move to matter. His blocking still has to develop, and the Eagles will have to bring him along the right way. But if his receiving talent carries over, Jalen Hurts suddenly has another target who can hurt teams when they focus too much on Mai Lemon, Devonta Smith, Saquon Barkley, or A.J. Brown. That is how deep offenses become unfair. And just when the offense started looking loaded again, Howie Roseman turned around and made a defensive move that changed the whole tone of the weekend. The Philadelphia Eagles did not only add young talent, they added a grown man problem off the edge. Jonathan Greenard changes the feel of this defense because he is not a wait-and-see piece. He is not some mystery prospect who needs 2 years before anyone knows what he is. He walks into Philadelphia with real NFL production, real power, and the kind of edge presence that makes quarterbacks speed up before the hit even comes. That is the part nobody should ignore. The Eagles already had the middle of the line, now they added pressure from the outside. And that is where this gets scary. Jalen Carter already forces extra attention inside. Jordan Davis already changes how teams run the ball. Moro Ochomo keeps growing into a serious interior piece. Then you still have Nolan Smith Jr., Jalix Hunt, and Arnold Ebiketie coming off the edge with fresh energy. Add Jonathan Greenard to that group, and suddenly, offenses cannot point to one player and say stop him. Then we survive. There are too many bodies, too many angles, too many ways for this front to ruin a clean pocket. The twist is, the Eagles did not make this move because they were desperate. They made it because they saw a chance to turn a strong group into a dangerous one. That is what makes Howie Roseman so frustrating for the rest of the league. He does not wait until the problem is obvious. He attacks before the weakness becomes loud. Jonathan Greenard gives this defense a veteran edge, but the next move says even more about how Philadelphia thinks. Because after grabbing proven pressure, the Eagles went right back to the draft board and took a giant offensive tackle who looks like a long-term gamble with massive upside. The Philadelphia Eagles did not pick Markel Bell because he looks normal. They picked him because players built like this almost never appear. He is a rookie tackle from Miami, and the second you hear his size, the whole move starts to make sense. 6'9", 346 pounds. That is not a regular offensive lineman frame. That is the kind of body a front office stares at and says, if we teach him right, this could become something serious. But this is where the story gets interesting. Markel Bell is not walking into Philadelphia as a finished product. That would be too easy. He still has work to do with balance, leverage, and technique, because being that tall can help you, but it can also create problems when fast edge rushers get low. Still, the Eagles did not draft him for what he is today. They drafted him for what he might become after time around Lane Johnson, Jordan Mailata, and a line room that understands what real development looks like. That is why this pick feels bigger than a simple depth move. Lane Johnson will not play forever, and the Eagles know the smart teams prepare before the panic starts. Jordan Mailata already proved Philadelphia is willing to bet on rare size and long-term growth. Now Markel Bell becomes the next giant project with real pressure attached to his name. If he hits, this line gets another future wall. If he needs time, the Eagles can afford to wait. And that patience matters, because day 3 brought a different kind of gamble, one built around speed, depth, and raw upside. The Philadelphia Eagles kept moving after the headline picks, and this is where the class started showing its real shape. Cole Payton was not drafted to create noise. He was drafted because Philadelphia likes having options behind Jalen Hurts, and this rookie quarterback gives them a different kind of athlete in the room. He is left-handed, he can move, he can extend plays. That does not mean there is a quarterback controversy. It means the Eagles added a player they can develop without rushing the story. Then came Micah Morris, and that pick felt like pure Eagles football. Build the line. Keep the room strong. Never wait until the problem arrives. Morris is a rookie guard from Georgia, which already tells you the Eagles were looking at a player who has been around big games, big bodies, and real pressure. He does not need to walk in and start right away. That is the point. Philadelphia can let him fight, learn, and grow, while the older pieces hold the front together. The final stretch had 2 names that matter for different reasons. Cole Wisniewski gives the safety room more competition, and that room needed more bodies with real camp pressure. Keyshawn James Newby enters a crowded edge group, so nothing will be handed to him. He has to win through speed, effort, and special teams value. That is how late picks survive in Philadelphia. But the next gamble was even wilder, because the Eagles did not only draft football players, they also took a swing on rare athletes who barely fit the normal draft story at all. The Philadelphia Eagles took their strangest swing of the weekend with UR Bernard, and that is exactly why people cannot stop talking about it. This is not a normal 7th-round story. This is a rookie defensive tackle from Nigeria who has never played organized football, yet still made an NFL team believe the risk was worth it. That sounds almost unreal, but this is how Philadelphia thinks. They are not only looking for safe players, they are looking for rare bodies that other teams are too scared to train. The reason UR Bernard matters is simple. You cannot teach his size, his speed, or the way he moves at that weight. The Eagles are not asking him to become Jalen Carter overnight. They are asking him to learn, grow, and turn raw power into football skill, one step at a time. And when a player like Jordan Mailata is already in the building, that lesson becomes even stronger. Mailata proved that a strange path can still become a real NFL success story if the player works and the team develops him the right way. Then Joshua Weru makes the story even crazier. He joins Uar Bernard as another international athlete with rare traits, this time coming in as an edge project from Kenya. That gives the Eagles 2 long-term swings from outside the normal football pipeline. Maybe both need time. Maybe one moves faster than expected. But the bigger message is clear. Howie Roseman is not only building with safe picks, he is searching for hidden upside where most teams do not even look. And after these wild development bets, the last question becomes simple. Which undrafted name has the best chance to shock everyone first? The Philadelphia Eagles still had work waiting after the final pick, and that is where the hidden names enter the story. Deontay Lawson is the one that jumps first, because Alabama linebackers do not usually land quietly without people paying attention. He walks into camp as a rookie who has to earn every snap, but his path is real, because this roster always rewards players who bring speed, toughness, and special teams value. That is how an undrafted name turns into a summer problem for someone ahead of him. Then the rest of the group adds pressure in different places. Daquan Wright gives the tight end room another young target. Eden Roberts brings more size to the offensive line battle. Kapena Gushikin, Tucker Large, and Maximus Pulley make the secondary competition feel crowded in a good way. Rocco Underwood might not be the flashiest name, but long snapper is one of those jobs nobody talks about until it goes wrong. These are not headline moves, but they are exactly the kind of additions that make preseason snaps matter. Now comes the one question still hanging over everything. Safety. Andrew Mukuba has a real role. Marcus Epps brings experience. Cole Wisniewski gives the room a new rookie with physical upside. But the Eagles still have to prove this group is settled before the games count. That is why this draft weekend feels powerful, but not closed. Howie Roseman added weapons, size, pass rush, depth, and wild upside. Yet the next move might still be waiting. And if Philadelphia fixes that final spot, this roster could become even harder to deal with.